All right. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a great Monday. We're here to talk some Warzone. We're going to be doing a Ask Me Anything session. For today is October 28th, 2024. I realize I never say the date in these. I guess I don't need to because the date is always on the video title. And people watch it in the future. But my name is Fizzer. I am the creator of the game Warzone. I have been making this game since 2008. Kill background music. Is it too loud? I intend to have the background music going in the background. Yeah, so this is Warzone. Been making this game since 2008. It's kind of my life's work. I was trying to give a little background at the start of videos. I know most of you guys know what's going on. But so yeah, we're going to be talking today about the new update that just landed 2 days ago, version 5.30. We're going to be going all over Clan Wars and everything that happened because this update is all about updating Clan Wars. And then I'm going to be answering questions from the community. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in Twitch chat and I'll answer it as we go. Did you post yourself onto the Warzone Discord already? I do not normally post myself to the Warzone Discord, and I did not post myself to the Warzone Discord. So no. If you want to post this AMA there, you're welcome to do so. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. Also, once we get through we're going to go over everything that changed in the update. It's foreground. Is it too loud? Really? I don't know. What I do when I stream is I write down all the volume, like levels of everything, like my system volume and the volume of the music player and the volume level in OBS, and I got it all tuned to the correct level, what I believe is the correct level, and everything's exactly where it should be. So I'm surprised to hear it's too loud. I didn't do an audio test this time. I usually do an audio. When I was tuning it, I was doing an audio test. You guys let me know if it's a better volume now. I lowered it. But yeah, one time I did an audio test and then I wrote down the levels of every single application and then I just set it all to that. So I hope it's right. If something got messed up, I'd be interested in hearing that. Okay, so we're going to be going over all the updates. We're going to be answering questions. Once we get through all the updates, I'll answer all the questions that were asked from this thread. This is questions from people that either couldn't be here today or wanted to ask it ahead of time. So yeah, let's get into it. So 2 days ago, and of course now the music is like stopped. Let's get that music. Okay. Is that too loud? I don't know about the music volume. Hopefully it's okay. Let me know if it's too loud. That's too loud? Jeez, I'm gonna have to do more audio tests for next stream. For now, I'll just rely on you guys. How about that? Is that better? So, 2 days ago, we had version 5.30. This is all about updating Clan Wars. Jeez. I can barely hear it in my ears. You guys are saying it's too loud. Is it good now? So we're going to be going over all the Clan Wars updates. I noticed there were no requested features implemented. Do you have an eye on a particular feature request you're planning on implementing soon? So this update was all about Clan Wars. And some of the features in Clan Wars were requested, certainly. I may not have resolved them. Too loud still? I don't know if I should stop the stream and do an audio check or just keep updating it. Okay, so Clan Wars. So this is the first major update to Clan Wars since it launched. So just to give you guys some context. Better, good. So Clan Wars launched like, what was it, 3 years ago? And it's been going well since then, but there's been some problems that today is all about fixing. This update. So first thing, I guess we'll just go in order here on the blog post. That'll help me stay organized. So new Clan Wars templates. This is something that people have been asking for a while. So the way Clan Wars works, I'm going to actually give a brief overview of it in case anyone is watching that just doesn't know what we're talking about. Any player who's in a clan can join Clan Wars. So the way it works is it is real-time Warzone Classic games. There is a time slot every 4 hours. So you can see right now there's a time slot in 1 hour, 4 minutes. So every 4 hours, a time slot gets created. And it looks like this. Basically, you have template choices, like you can play Small Earth Auto Distribution, or you can play Strategic 1v1, or you can play Strategic 2v2, or Small Earth Commander and Bomb Card. The templates are randomized every time, but they are... The number of template options is based on the historic demand for that particular time slot. So if a lot of people are joining, at 4 p.m. every day, then it will give more template options. In the middle of the night, U.S. time, I think are like the least populated templates. Sometimes you only have 1 or 2 options, but that's how that works. And then once you create it, it creates the game, and you can come in here and you can play your game, and whoever wins gets points for their clan, which contributes to the clan leaderboard. You can see we have a whole bunch of seasons recently have been won by Mythbusters. They've been pretty much dominating Clan Wars, which is some of the changes that were made in this update were a response to that. We'll talk more about that. We'll get into it. So the new thing is new Clan Wars templates. So some people want to see new templates in there. So we're going to be doing a poll. But before we do the poll, there is this thread where you can come in here and you can submit templates that you would like to see added to Clan Wars. This is for seeding the poll. I'm going to go through this. I'm probably going to sort by popularity on all these templates. Whatever templates are getting the most games played, I'll probably pick the top like, I don't know what's the right number to pick. Maybe the top 10 for included on the poll. Putting in every template that someone suggested is probably overkill. Like you don't want 100 items on the poll. It would just be ridiculous. So I think top 10 is reasonable. Maybe top 12. I don't know. Who will be the template panel? This is basically this thread. This is people suggesting templates, and I'm going to pick the most popular 10 from this thread. And that will go beyond the poll. And then the poll... let's talk about this. Actually, I can show this off. Let's see if I can create a poll. So in the latest update, another thing is you should get all your clan lists to repost your template. Having the same template posted multiple times isn't going to help. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take every template that was submitted and I'm going to sort them by popularity, like the number of games that have been played on that template prior to today. So I don't think you can go create 100 games on a template to make it more popular. I'll look at all the games that have been played prior to right now. Let's see. How do I create a poll? Create poll. And then let's go to... Where's Firefox? Oh, this is Firefox. Let's go to here. When the poll is finally created, this is what it'll look like. It'll come into your mail. Let me put this so I don't cover up chat. It'll be a blinky mail thread, and then when you open it up, you'll have a choice of all these templates. These are not the real ones. These are just crap I put in for testing the polling system. Would you consider 3v3? Yes, 3v3 is definitely an option. Clan Wars does support 3v3. It supports all team templates. But then fast, small earth bomb will never make it since com bomb, but with shorter boot time. That is true. I am willing to consider things, but I'm not sure what the correct solution to that problem is. But and then what you can do is you choose it in here, and it asks you where you want to rank each one. So I can be like, you can rank these in whatever order you want. You basically set where you want each template. Once you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you just click submit my votes. There's also an I don't care button for people who just don't want to vote. But when you click that, It submits your poll options and they are saved. That's how the poll works. And then we'll do like instant runoff voting if you know about polling stuff, how that works. Instant runoff, yeah, I think that's what's called. Would you consider an FFA in Clan Wars? I think that would be cool. If people suggest that, I can't remember. Does Clan Wars support FFAs? I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. If an FFA is submitted, I would actually be willing to put it on the poll. I know a lot of strategic players aren't really interested in FFAs, but there are a lot of players out there that like FFAs, and I think it would be cool to have in Clan Wars. How would it work? Let's see. If you have a 4-player FFA, then everyone would need to be on a different clan. You can never have 2 people from the same clan in. But yeah, I think it would be cool to have an FFA in Clan Wars. I play Idle all the time and hate that every 4 hours I have to look at ads to get a boost to production. Can I pay a monthly fee to get rid of those ads specifically on Idle? Currently, the answer to that question is no. There's no feature to do that. That is something I would be willing to add that as an option. So that's the kind of thing that I would encourage you to submit that as a feature request. If you go to the forum, there's this new feature requests forum. You can come in here and you can create a feature request and people can vote on it. That's the kind of thing that if enough people voted on, I would definitely do. There's no real downside to offering that. Other than just the time of implementing. I wouldn't want to spend time implementing it if only one person does it. But if there'd be enough people that want to do that, I'd definitely be willing to do that. Here for the chaos? Yeah, we're going to have some chaos. Am I kind of quiet? Is the voice too low? You can correct. Thanks. You are welcome. Is it possible instead of showing number of opponents in team templates for Clan Wars, but show number of complete teams? Could be a good idea to prevent no games. Yeah, I can see why that is desired. I mean, hopefully most people aren't. Actually, I don't know. How often in Clan Wars do people join a team template and not make a team? Like join without a clan member. Let's open up all these time slots. Has that happened yet this season? I'm trying to establish how big of a problem this is. Oh crap. Those aren't correctly enabled. So 2v2, one person did already in this time slot. 2v2, yeah, somebody did in this time slot as well, and 3 Mythbusters joined. So it looks like it is happening. 2v2. I'm just gonna search for it. That one's fine. Yeah, it is definitely happening. No 2v2 in that time slot. Yeah, someone here joined by themselves. It's definitely happening. So yeah, this is, feel free to throw it on the feature request forum. If enough people vote for it, I'd be willing to do it. I don't think there's a downside to doing it. It just needs to, I would hope that, I don't know why that's happening so often. Why are people joining? I mean, can I understand like when 3 people from a clan join? I guess people aren't coordinating with their clan mates, which is understandable. There's no real in-game way of coordinating, at least daily. Surprisingly more than you think, yes. Would you consider a feature in the future where you can basically create a template out of a current turn in a game where troops and slops are basically created automatically? I have considered that, yes. I do think that would be a cool feature. I don't know if that already exists on the feature request forum, but if it does not, I would encourage you to add that. I do think it's a cool feature. Yeah. And I've already done some work towards that. Like, if you notice the finish versus AI button that exists at the end of a multiplayer game, that kind of does sort of what you're asking, but obviously not. It's not exactly what you're asking for, but some of the code that was created for that feature will be shared with your feature. Oh yeah, I was going to increase the volume of Input volume. Oh yeah. Maybe this is why the music is too loud, because my microphone volume is too low. Let me get this fixed. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm going to get loud for a second. Okay. Tell me how volume levels are now. Are things better? Wait, what? Okay. Are volume levels better now? I messed with stuff. I realized one of my settings was not set correctly. Perfect. Good. Okay, I know what happened. It wasn't that the music was too loud before. It was that my microphone was too low. Sounds good to you. Cool. Okay, cool. So I shut off the polling. We're going to do... Oh, and the other thing I need to say about the polling. What we're going to do... I think the number of templates we're going to add to Clan Wars is 2 or 3. I think what I want to do is I want to add 3 and take away 1. So we're effectively adding 2. And that 1 will be... So the last time we did voting for Clan Wars, the 2 templates that were voted in were Gris Roma and French Brawl. I think I'm going to take whichever one of those is least popular and put it on the poll. So if it gets voted in the top 3, then it will stay. If it's not voted in the top 3, then it will be removed and replaced with the top 3. Why not add more templates to the rotation? Just because if you want to play Clan Wars, you kind of have to learn. You should you don't have to learn every template to play Clan Wars, but some people out there will want to learn every template that exists in Clan Wars in order to maximize their effectiveness. So you don't really want to have way too many. Too bad for all the hardcore template specialists after 15 years grinding strategic 1v1. There should be a cancel button or something. Why do I have to set attack to 0 to cancel it all these years? That's actually something that Mercer always pushed me to do. We got into a lot of arguments. I always thought it was unnecessary. You can delete orders in the orders panel, but when you're bringing up an order, I don't know. I'm a fan of personally having the minimum number of buttons on the screen creates the best experience. I can actually pull up a game so we can see what we're talking about. So if I make this attack and then I want to cancel it. Right now you just set it to 0 and hit OK and it cancels it. The question is, should there be a button somewhere like delete this order? And maybe. My personal opinion is that the fewer buttons you put on the screen, the easier it is to use the game. If there's already a way to do it in the existing UI, adding a button just makes things more complicated. I don't know. That's kind of my personal opinion. But some people have told me there should be a cancel button. You can free to add that to the feature request form. I'm not saying it will never happen. Yeah, the cancel button closes the attack button. It doesn't delete the attack. Maybe there should be a delete attack button. If you have a no-split game. Yeah, no-split games is definitely a case for that button is needed. Because right now, the only way... Because in a no-split game, this slider doesn't exist. So, without a doubt, the button should be added to no-split games. That's not a controversial opinion. That's just a solid improvement. And if someone wants to add that to the feature request form too, that's a no-brainer. It's just balancing it with all other features that need to be done. The question is, in a non-no-split game, should there also be a delete orders button, or is setting it to 0 sufficient? That's the one that's a little controversial. Or debatable, I guess I should say. I always pronounce Gris Roma, G-W-I as in Gwen, Gris Roma. I don't know how to pronounce it. I have always pronounced it Gris Roma, but I might be wrong. Sure, they can be canceled, but if you can't find it a time scramble? In your orders column, you can delete an order, yes. And that will always be there because that's necessary for some things like unplaying cards. Like if you play a card, you can come up here to the orders panel and delete it. Why do only some of my troops attack other lands? I'll send 15. They have 12. And then I have 7 left over, and they still own it. So if you send 15 under normal settings, that kills 9. So if they have 12, they will have 3 left over. And 12 on defense kills 12 times 0.7, kills 8. So you would be left with 7, yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you are asking a question about the basic game mechanics. So the way it works is every attacking army kills 0.6 defending armies, and every defending army kills 0.7 attacking armies. So if you attack with 15 times 0.6, let me put my calculator on this monitor. 15 times 0.6 kills 9. So that's why you kill 9. The defender has 12, and because you're attacking at 12, you didn't quite kill enough. You would need to kill 12 divided by 0.6. You would need to attack with 20 to kill 12. And they still own it. So I hope that answers your question. If you want more details, you can go to the wiki and click on combat basics. There is a lot of details on this page. I would argue this, I think I need to clean up this page, by the way, because this page assumes luck settings, whereas most games don't even use luck anymore. Someday I need to go clean that up. Why is President Mousebites being so deceitful? I just want a word of peace. I just want world peace. Yeah. Don't we all? 15 attackers kill 9 defenders. Yeah. You can edit the kill rates. Wiki needs a bit of a refresh and update in general. Yeah. So the wiki is editable now. Editable now. Not edible. You can't eat the wiki. So for those who don't know, there was a spam bot attack. So I actually upgraded the wiki like about a month ago or a few weeks ago to the latest version. Now the music's allowed. I upgraded it to the latest version, and we got hit with a whole bunch of spam bots coming in and uploading all sorts of pornography and stuff. So I had to like roll the database back and block. I had to set it to read only for a while just to figure out how to stop the spam bots. Now last night I fixed that, so it is no longer read only. It can be edited again. You do need an account now, whereas before we used to allow anonymous edits where you could just come to the wiki and edit it anonymously. But now, because of the spam bots, we unfortunately lost that privilege. So you do have to create an account on the wiki, and then you can edit it again. So thankfully it is editable now. So that's good improvement. But yeah, the wiki does need some refresh and update in some places. It at least isn't full of spam pages anymore, yes. Thank you for notifying me about that spam attack. It's better to defend rather than attack. You do get slightly better defense odds on defense rather than offense, yes. But really the better thing is anytime you're in attack with a whole bunch of armies, you want to have a much bigger force. Can we get kill rates above 100% and negative kill rates? How would that work? Kill rates above 100% makes sense. How would negative kill rates work? So when you attack, you lose more armies. Wait, how would that even make sense? And so normally an attack of 10 kills 6. So an attack of negative 10 would mean you create armies on the defense. So every time you attack, your defender gains armies. And every time you defend, you gain armies. If the defense was negative. I'm not sure if there's any opportunity to create an interesting game with negative kill rates. But this is the first time I've thought about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I would like to see a mod do that. Let's see a mod do that first, and then we'll see if it's fun. If it's fun, then maybe we can consider adding it. Spawning 1v1 autodist seems to work against you once your rating goes over 700. Why is this? So the spots you get in distribution are not based on your rating. Every game is independent. But I will say that there's a lot of very good auto distribution players out there. It is a lot more skill than most people realize. Obviously, there is still some luck in auto distribution. It is one of the more luckier templates, but there's a lot more skill than most people realize. And I would say when you're playing over people that have a very high rating, you're going to end up having a hard time. You're going to find that you struggle to win games. I had plans updating the mod pages, but Dan beat me to it. Good. Interesting. I don't even know if Dan's still playing the game, but I did see him editing the wiki. Warzone for beginners. What is this? Oh, cool. Probably a good guide. I haven't read it. Got around for a bit. Was this later? You can watch this later. Yes. If you go to the Warzone forums, there's an AMA thread. What happened to my... there it is. There's an AMA thread. This thread that you see called Fizzer AMA on the forums will have a link to this video once it is over. Quality of life suggestion for idle. Being able to assign smelters and crafters to customizable groups. I mean, you can change a recipe for the group instead of each individual smelter crafter. And be able to add or remove them from various groups. And a cancel all button to stop all productions. Yeah, I agree that would be a useful quality of life improvement. You should add that to the feature request forum. Alternating the kill rates is annoying, though. It is, yeah. You have to basically look at every attack and redo the calculations yourself in the mod. For the mod maker has to do that. Defending isn't always better than attacking. For example, if you attack 12 of 15, you kill 9 and lose 8. If you attack 12 with 15, you kill 9 and lose 8. You don't gain the territory, but they lose one more army than you do. Yes, you generally want to have the bigger stack. That's what I was saying is... You want to have the bigger stack, basically, in most fights. That's going to be... in a 1v1, it's important, because you're going to want... Basically, you want... The thing to pay attention to in a 1v1 is kill differences. So, if you and your opponent fight, and they lose more armies than you, that is a win. Basically, if your opponent loses 2 more armies than you on average every turn from your fighting... That's like the equivalent of you having an extra 2 bonus income. It can a lot of games are won and lost based on that, rather than bonuses. Basically, we need to recalculate every attack. Use those pesky custom special units. Add so much complexity. Yes, I agree. It is annoying. A mod to kill a commander or special unit. Rate might be cool. Give a commander rate, yeah. What is the template that requires the least luck? There's lots of templates that have what are called pure skill. And there's a special little icon that appears next to them. Let's see if I can find one. Wait, there's no icons on the past game. But there's a little like teal cyan colored icon that appears to the left of any template that has... no luck involved of it whatsoever. There it is. This little eagle thing right here. This is and if you hover over it, it says pure skill. Basically, there is no randomness in this game whatsoever. When upgrading a building, when you can upgrade your troops' kill rates. What do you think are the most skillful matchups? Like 1v1, 2v2. My clan thinks 2v2 is the most skillful. I don't know that the team size necessarily correlates with skill. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think those are correlated. But I would say definitely 1v1 and 2v2, 3v3 are all the most skillful matchups, as opposed to FFAs, which tend to be not as skillful in different ways. It's like negotiating and stuff, but it's not strategic. Which update do you think was your most successful update and why? Ooh, there's an interesting question. My first thought, I don't know if this is my final answer. We're going to go way back. My first thought was Alpha Phase 8. Wait, is this right? Is this the one I'm thinking of? Yeah. There was a... So before Alpha Phase 8, we're going all the way back to 2009 for this one. Before Alpha Phase 8, anytime you wanted to redo your orders on a turn, like you know how you click Modify Orders on a game where you've already committed, it would delete all your orders and you'd have to redo every attack on that turn. On Alpha Phase 8, it made it so what we have now, where you click modify orders, and then you can like change one thing and then commit again. Also, when you clicked modify orders before, if everyone committed while you were modifying your orders, the game would advance and you would lose your chance. So you click modify orders, then you'd have to re-enter all your attacks. And if you didn't finish before the last person committed it in a game, it would just go to the next turn. That was a big improvement. I remember a lot of people being really happy with that. I don't know if that's necessarily my favorite update of all time, but I remember that being a really good one. I'm sure nobody here played in 2009, so most people probably don't. My clanmates... sorry, let me make sure I don't miss anything. Probably update during COVID. I think the most successful update was adding idle, and the biggest and most successful. Idle definitely... Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Hope I'm not being an a-hole asking about this, but how much do you make from the ads on idle, by the way? Ads make probably like 20 to 25% of our revenue. I don't know on idle specifically. I don't break it out between idle and normally. I could look that up if I go dig through all the data, but I don't know the answer to that off the top of my question. Off the top of my head, who's the best player you've ever met or known about? Like met in real life or known about? Met or known about? Best player. It's really hard to measure best player. I don't know who the best player now is. I know in past, back when I used to play the ladders a lot, there was a player called the Imperator. Wait, how do you say his name? Way back in the day, there was someone who pretty much dominated the 1v1 ladder. Wait, how do I see all the seasons? I forgot how to use the 1v1 ladder. How do I see past seasons? Oh, no, there's no seasons. Right. There was a player called the Imperator or something, and he was dominating the 1v1 ladder for a long time. 1v1 is the most skillful. Who's a 2v2? In a 2v2, a random node might be carried by the first place. That is true. If you're purely measuring one person's skill, then a 1v1 is going to measure it more accurately than a 2v2. What is the feature suggestion link? It's under forums. So you go to forums, and one of the forums is the feature request forum. If I recall correctly, clanmates argue that in a 2v2, you might have the skill coordinating with another person. Coordinating with another person is indeed skill, but you also can't, if the other person isn't like listening to you or just doing whatever they want and they're doing something really dumb, it's a different type of skill. Coordinating with another player. Say what you want about idle. Rufus is the best player currently. Impaler, yeah. Doesn't have season, yeah. I forgot. No, it was the Impaler. Thank you for the game. I played a lot. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so going back to the blog. So new templates. I think I talked about everything about new templates. There's a new UI for Clan Wars. So when I originally did Clan Wars, I had this whole idea of having the map be like having this Clan War map where your clans get territories on the map and then they kind of grow. And I'm like, oh, that'd be a cool way to like visualize who's winning. We can see like Mythbusters has 3 territories where everybody else only has 1. And that's kind of cool, but I don't know, it didn't work out as well as I thought. So this works. So now we have a more traditional, we still have the map, but we have a more traditional just leaderboard. I think it's just better, easier to use. Now there's an actual page for every clan where you can see like, you can go to their clan, or you can go view all their games, or you can view their recent games, or you can view all the players in it. We have an actual page for each clan that gives you all the details about their points, just to make things clearer and easier. Instead of trying to use this whole map thing, I think it's just more intuitive. Oh my gosh, something just broke. Okay, well, that's a bug I'll have to look into. The UI is a bit bugged. When I view all of TLA's games, there's some missing, I think. Send you a bug report later, but tonight, unless someone else already did. I think I got a report about that, although I wasn't able to reproduce it. TLA, The Last Alliance. Are they missing games? Yeah, send me a list of that. They definitely should not be missing games. Also, when you tell me that, tell me if you're talking about the website or your phone, because it might be an issue with mix and matching versions. Like the phones are still running the old version of the app. Is the phone update out yet? It is not out yet. The Android version is currently waiting on Google to approve it. And then once that goes live, I will submit the iOS version. So the new UI, there's another thing I really like. There's this new view time slots button if you want to see all the time slots in these. So you can come in here, and we used it earlier on the stream. You can come in here and see the time slots, whereas previously there's no way to get to this page after the time slot started. Unless you like plug in numbers to your URL, which is annoying to do. So now you can just directly see them. That's another improvement. There's also this view recent games. I actually didn't mention this on the blog, but there's a view recent games where you can come in here and you can see all the games that were recently played. So that's a good improvement. Yeah, hopefully people like the new UI. I think it is a solid improvement. Matchmaking change. This is something a lot of people have been asking for. So before, this is concerning within a specific time slot and then within a specific template. Like you can see this template right here had this time slot, this template, Small Earth 1v1 Autodist. These 19 players queued up and said they want to play it. And the way this works changed. So the way it used to work, every clan has what's called a clan war rating. So like if I open this clan, I go to Prime, and it says right here, their rating is 525.3. This rating goes up and down based on your clan's performance in Clan Wars. And it's also used for matchmaking. And the idea there is we want to match people that, we want to match good clans against good clans and newbies against newbies to help make more even games. So the algorithm that used to be used for Clan Wars was it used to match the highest rating people. So take all the people that joined, it would sort them by their rating. It would take the first person in that list, the top rated person. It would find the highest rated opponent for them, and that would match them together. And then of the list that remained, it would remove those two people from the list. And then of the list that remained, it would just keep going down the list and doing that. It was a very simple algorithm. And it worked fine. And I ran a bunch of experiments, and across like the last 3,500 time slots, basically more than a year's worth of data, it basically got 94% of people a game. And the reason I need to clarify, the reason you don't get a game is because if you're left with like only 4 people on the list and they're all from the same clan, then you can't match any of them to anyone because you can never match someone from the same clan. Also, if you have an odd number of people, there's always going to be someone that doesn't get a game. Like you can see in this game, this guy didn't get a game because 19 people queued up for it. And a lot of people complained they didn't like it when they didn't get games. And so the algorithm is better now. So the way the algorithm works now is it actually sorts people by how many people from each clan joined. So in this case, this clan, what is this clan? This is the Knights Club. So in this template, 4 people from Night Club queued. So they would be at the top of the list. And then everyone that has 2 people queued, like Prime and this one, would be right below them on the list. And then for whichever clan has the most people queued, it then looks at the person on the list that has the closest rating to them. So if their rating is 500 and someone else is 501, it will pick a random person from the 501 clan, match them up. And then just repeats that. Looks at whichever clan has the most people queued and match the top person on that list with the person with the closest rating. And what I found when I did some experiments is that matched 95% of people from the clans. 95% of people got games. So basically from 94 on the old one to 95 in the new one, which is only like a 1% increase. but it ends up being, I think it ends up being about peak number of people you could possibly match. You're never going to be able to match 100% because, again, if an odd number of people joined, that one person will just straight up not get a game no matter what. And so a lot of people have been asking for a matchmaking change. So this is that, and I hope it's better. And a couple people on the forums helped contribute and find this algorithm. One thing that I seem to observe, that pretty much all people saying about multiplayer games are very good, very high level. I play a ton of single player games. I'm only level 21. Is there a community of normal mortals with whom I could play against multiplayer games without investing many months in further training and learning? Yeah, so first off, level is not very correlated with skill. The thing that is correlated mostly with skill is your quick match rating. So what I would recommend to you is go to quick match and play games with quick match. Either if you want a real-time game, you click this big green play now button. If you want multi-day games, you just check this box and it will invite you to multi-day games. Quick match will match you against people that have a similar skill to yours. That is the primary way of solving the problem you were talking about. So that's what I recommend you do. Annoying, isn't it, if clan name isn't on the player pop-up anymore? Yes. Create a sell all button for the OR screen. So that's an idle question. Sell all, let me load my idle level here. I don't usually play on the website. Sorry, OR. So you just drag your slider to the right and click the sell button, right? Oh, you mean you want to sell all the ORs at once, not all of one type. Yeah, so the primary way that's done is with the auto sell. Auto sell. Increased OR sell values. There's an auto sell. Oh, auto dash sell. Yeah. The primary way I envision people that want to sell all is using the auto sell advancement. That's basically what I would say would be the best way of making ORs easier to sell. Thanks so much for making an awesome game. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. Who is the top person in a clan? Is that order signed up to randomize? It is randomized. Bring back clan name on pop-up. Yeah, you should add that to the feature request form. 1v1 me, bro? You can invite me to a 1v1 game. I won't play it on stream, but we can play after. If you invite me to a multi-day 1v1 game. I will play you, sure. Would it be possible to make friend list public, like a social media site? Oh, that's interesting. I don't think anyone's ever requested that before. It is possible. I'm not sure if... I think I would want to make it optional so people could hide their friends list if they don't want it to be public. But yeah, you can add that to the feature request form if you want. Do I play Idle? Yes, I do play Idle. I play it on my phone, though. I don't play it on the website. Do you... Or do you have so many levels created that are faked with admin tools for testing that you can't really play? I do test things on my development environment. I play Idle for real on the production environment. Will there be many more single level players in the levels in the future? Possibly. I'm not planning on adding any more right now. My advice to you, if you want more single player levels, or go to community levels. There's 22,000 and there's new ones coming out all the time, constantly. You will never run out. But being able to earn more stars would be cool, yeah. Okay, so that's the matchmaking change. I think we finished talking about that. Yeah, Dr. K is the one who came up with this algorithm. 157 is enough for you to get all gold on. Clan size increase. Oh yeah, so I think this is going to be something people are really happy about. All the clans that were previously limited to 40 are now able to go up to 50. You can see Mythbusters at 42. Amazing. And there is the open clan features, which hasn't changed in this update, but it also goes up to 50 if you want to open your clan. And the open clans feature is, of course, this, where you can... Let's see, are there people in here that are over 40? Yeah? Like, wow. They said, and kill them all. They said, we're at 40, we want to be more, so they opened their clan. All these clans are open. Oh, look, my clan's open. Anyone want to be in clan with me? How do I update the app for Android? I checked the Play Store, there's no update. So the update right now is pending Google approval. So Google has to approve it before it can go live. So unfortunately, we just have to wait for that to happen. I haven't been able to collect last season's Clan Wars rewards. Yeah, so you can collect them on the website right now, or you can wait till the app update comes out. I apologize for that. Unfortunately, do have to wait for the update. Also, when I go to Clan Wars map page and look up my player name, Orange Wars, it says only one game this season. I've played 2 and won 2. Oh yeah, some other people reported that is potentially something going on. I'm not sure what's going on with that yet. I need to look into that. You can report this as a bug. If you go to contact at the bottom of the page, there's a report bug page, warzone.com/report bug, or you can report it from within the app by going to help contact report bug. If you see a bug, this is the way to report it. Are the Apple Google approval holding you back in how many updates you push out? No, not really. It's really just a latency thing. From the time that I upload it, we have to wait until it goes live. And I have to update the website first because it's the server. And so the server has to go live before the app can go live. So the website and the server are like the same thing. So I update the website and then I submit the app to Google, and I have to wait for them to approve it. Google's usually pretty fast, but for some reason I think they take about a day. I just submitted it yesterday, so. Back in the day, Apple used to be really slow. Apple's faster now, but back in the day, they used to take 2, sometimes even 3 weeks. And I remember when COVID first hit, there was a period when Google was taking like over a month to approve app updates. It was weird. Probably COVID related. That's not a normal thing. That was like an exception. It has been annoying in the past, but most of the time it's not too bad. Can you share a little bit about yourself and the team? So this is an indie game. It is just me. I don't have any employees. How big is the dev team for classic idle games on the website? It is one big. Where am I located? I'm in the Seattle area. How did it all start? It started back in 2008. I was playing other Risk-like games on the internet, and I was really dissatisfied with them. I thought I could do better, so one day I did, and I just started making the game. And really, I made it just for myself and my friends. Like I never planned on it getting to the size it is now. I thought I would play a few games with my friends and then move on to something different. But I just had so much fun working on it. I just kept adding features continually over and over, and it just kept growing. And after doing that for about 3 years, I quit my job, and I've been working on it full time ever since. There's no way to make sure everyone gets access to an update at the same time. Not across. I mean, there is a way to do it. So the Apple and Google both have this option where you can submit your app to them with like a later go live date. You can be like, here, I'm going to submit this app to you and I want you to review it now. But I don't want it to go live until this specific day, or even when I click a button. The difficulty with that, oops, I bumped my mic. The difficulty with that for me is the server a lot of times the client depends on features that are in the server. So I have to deploy the website and server first before I can submit the app. Otherwise the app just doesn't work. Now that is a problem I could solve. Like there are engineering ways. Like I could deploy the code and have like the new Clan Wars update not work yet. It's a heck of a lot more work for me. That's the bottom line. It's a heck of a lot more work to make sure everything goes live at the same time. So I would rather spend that time on adding new features than synchronizing the launch. It's just a choice I've made. Have you ever thought about being able to combine the mines and idols so that you don't have to open all the mines individually to change the recipe? Are you talking about smelters? Because mines don't have recipes. If you're talking about smelters and crafters, I think that is actually exactly what somebody else asked earlier. What do you do on your hikes with Elucidator in the woods near Seattle? I used to go, Elucidator is my brother. I used to go on hikes with him a lot. And we tried to do one this year many times, but he kept canceling. You live in Bellevue? I used to live in Bellevue. In fact, this game was born in Bellevue. That's where I was living when I started this. Okay. Remove Clan Wars cap. So with this so prior to this update, only 40 people could join Clan Wars each season from each clan. And that's just gone now. Now any player can join. All right. So we're going to get into, okay, let's talk about the end of day. So, and Clan Wars, the other thing I never said on this stream, which I'm sure most of the people watching already know, but if you know about Clan Wars, you know that each player can join one game per day. That's kind of how it works. I mentioned before that there's a time slot every 4 hours, much earlier in the stream. But you can only join one time slot per day. So there's a time slot every 4 hours, but you get to choose one of those per day. And the idea, if you're going to be a Clan Wars player, is you play one game per day, generally, if you want to maximize your effectiveness for your clan. So Clan Wars has this concept of days, and previously, basically what would happen is the only thing the day did was preventing people from joining more than once a day. But the clan war ends when the map is entirely filled up. That's true both before and now. But now there's this end of day processing that happens. So at midnight in the GMT time zone, all the previous day's worth of games are processed, and a bunch of stuff happens now. And this is a concept that didn't exist before. But now rewards are given out at the end of the day. We calculate the win strength, which we're going to talk about in a minute. We're going to calculate how many points the clan got, and then we're going to check to see if the season ends all during this end of day processing. And this is actually a big improvement, which is seasons always end now at midnight. Rather than before, the season could end right in the middle of anything. Basically, so the season ends when all the territories on the clan war have given out. But previously, and I totally admit this was my fault in the previous design, it was very poorly designed, because if the last territory happens to be given out like in the middle of a day, then you end up starting the next time slot ends up being the next season of the clan war. And that's a problem for many reasons. For one reason is, remember how I said players can play one time slot per day? Technically, they can play one time slot per day per season. So if the season ended up advancing in the middle of the day, you could have a scenario where the last time slot in the day ends up being the next season. Like, let's say season 5, whereas the previous time slot was season 4. So people could jump in and play 2 time slots that day. If you happen to be online for that last season or the last time slot of the day. And that's bad because some people are sleeping in the middle of that time based on their sleep schedule or where they are in the world, the time zones and stuff. So that's not very good. The other problem with it was that if, let's say there's one territory left on the map, let's say everything's conquered except one, and a time slot gets created, there's going to be kind of a race, because as soon as that territory is given out, and territories used to be given out immediately after a game ended. So if a game ended and that territory was given out, well, all the rest of the games in that time slot that end after that game basically don't count because the season's over. And that's not good. Because you don't want the speed at which you play your game to be relevant to how many points your clan gets. That's just not fair. So that's all fixed now. Basically, the season always ends at midnight, which means that your games will always count. Actually, technically, that statement isn't true. Well, there's one case where a game might not count, but it's extremely rare. It should never really happen. But and that means we can get into a scenario where every territory on the map is given out. Let's say that happens at the first time slot of the day. Well, we still have several more time slots in that day where no territories are going to be given out. But the time slots will still be created. The wins will still count, and you'll still get points for those wins. So that's a solid improvement to Clan Wars. I'm pretty sure everyone will agree that is much better. And so the only case where a win might not count, and it's extremely rare, it would only happen if a game took more than 4 hours, which is highly unlikely to happen given that these are all real-time games. So you're talking about 5 minutes per turn. But in theory, you could have a game that's just so back and forth, people are into it, and 5 minutes per turn goes by every turn, and the game ends up taking more than 4 hours, which means it ends up finishing after the next time slot, right? Because time slots are created every 4 hours. So if you create a game in time slot 1, most of the games will finish before time slot 2 is created. But if one game takes 5 hours to finish, it will be finished after the next time slot is done. Now, most of the time that's still fine. It doesn't matter if it's not the last time slot of the day, it's not going to matter at all. It'll just get counted in the end of day processing like normal. If a 4-hour game does happen in the last time slot of a day, then that game will basically count towards the next day and everything will be fine. Like, this is a weird edge case, but I had to deal with this when I was making it because it could come up. I have to make sure like Clan Wars doesn't crash and stuff. So, now, the only time this could actually matter is if a game gets created right before the season ends. So all the territories on the map are given out. The last time slot of the day is created, and a game takes more than 4 hours. In that case, the game would actually finish after the season is over. And in that case, the game basically just doesn't count. Highly unlikely it's going to happen, but it is possible that the game just doesn't count. No one gets any points from it. So many one-slot Clan War days at the start of many seasons. Is that true? One-slot Clan Wars day, like one template time slots? Early bird. Late bird as well. When the season was ending, it was pretty much a given that there would be 2 seasons on one day. Yes. So you had to make sure they were there for the first and last slots of the day. Yes. And I agree that should not happen. And it won't happen anymore. Those days are behind us. The mod API has a lot of point mods can hook into to modify the game. However, we cannot modify everything in the game. What is the biggest missing part feature when the mod API is lacking currently in your opinion? Yeah, there is a lot I want to improve about the mod framework. And that's something I will definitely consider doing once I get through all of the Clan War stuff. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to do it, but it's definitely something that I am looking at doing. I have some notes. So like there's some things I'm actually thinking about adding to the mod framework that a lot of people have been asking for. So I would love to add I would love to have the mod framework hook into cards so you can actually like make custom cards. Maybe a way to have mods hook into chat, maybe a way to have it hook into a lot of the UI. Like I'd like to add a hook for when people commit orders or even when they modify their orders. Another thing I have in my notes is people want to modify the income on the very first turn, which is as a side effect of the system is currently not possible. That should be possible in my opinion. I'd like to see a way for mods to bring people back from the dead, or even possibly insert a new player into a game. I'm not sure exactly how that would work. Another thing I would like to see mods do is the ability to switch people's teams, change the teams around. So anyway, those are ideas I have, things I want to do. But I'm not guaranteeing any of those things are going to happen. Those are just things I would like to do. I would say that mods not being able to modify fog levels is the biggest missing feature in the part. That is something I agree would be nice to be able to happen. Let me add that. to my list. I don't have that on my list right now. Like modify a fog level for a specific territory at a specific point in time or something like that. That would be really cool. Are there any plans to make the arena and idol doable versus a bot instead of another player? There's not currently plans to do that. It's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if it would work out. One of the things I do want to do with idol arenas, since you brought up arenas, I want to make it so if a game doesn't start, as in there's no other players queuing for a specific template at a specific point in time, that you just give them a free win. Like if you queue for it and you wait long enough, like, okay, there's no opponents here, just you get the reward, the arena is done. That's specifically there, I think will be helpful for the 2v2 template that right now is really hard to get started because there's not enough people queuing for it. Because that would encourage people to queue for it and wait a little bit because they know they're going to get their reward. They know they're either going to get their game or get their reward. I know that a question for Fizzer, but I would like to be able to hook to select territory bonus UI in the game settings phase. The game settings phase? You're talking about game creation? And have a hook between turn 0 and turn 1 allow adjusting income. Yeah, I mentioned that. In that case, the players start questioning life choices. I'm not sure what you're referring to. How many approximate players exist, classic idle versus single versus multiplayer? I don't actually know the answer to that. It's not something I pay a lot of attention to. This would be fixed, allow, and modify in the game standard. Yes. Mod framework needs the love, in my opinion, because answer several feature requests have already been implemented as a mod first, but we need more hooks and tools to be able to do it. So yes. That if someone requests a feature that is not currently doable by the mod framework, then it is a valid feature request. The only time I respond with implement it as a mod first is if I believe that a mod can actually do it. If someone boots, it would be sweet if it was advertised for someone else to take over. Yeah, that's a feature people have requested before, but I'm not sure I've ever really, my opinion on that is who would be the person that would be wanting to take over a bunch of really bad positions? I feel like most of the time when people get booted, it's because they're in a really bad position and they rage quit the game. So most of the time that there's an empty seat in a game that somebody got booted from, it's going to be a really bad position. And who are these people that are going to be wanting to constantly take over bad positions in games? I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that actually working. Do you have any idea at the rate that idle games get into multiplayer? I do not have an idea of that. Unfortunately, it's not something I keep track of. But my my anecdotal evidence is that pretty often when I join arenas, they usually start. But I don't join the 2v2s. Once the 2v2 arena starts, it is a lotto for the newbie. You get teamed up with boot before the other team will boot. Yeah. And maybe if people have a really high boot rate, we just don't put them in 2v2 arenas anymore or something like that. We don't allow them to join 2v2 arenas or something. I don't know. I don't know what the right solution to that is, but maybe something like that. This game is a masterpiece, by the way. Are you thinking of adding new cards? Because I think there are nice cards you can put in. Yeah, I do think it would be cool to add new cards. The biggest way I'd like to see new cards come in is I'd like to add a mod hook that allows mods to add new cards. And then we'll see all sorts of new cards from mods. And then possibly if there are some modded cards that are very successful, we can talk about making that mod like a permanent addition to the game. Improve to the mods in game creation, such as a hook in the custom scenario creator. Yeah, I agree that would be really nice. This is one of the reasons I asked for AI instead of other players. Like the idea, but he went from most arenas seem to end up with one surrendering once one thing goes wrong. Yeah. It would be annoying to join a losing game. Why boot from a lost position if the surrender button exists? Some people are lazy. They'd just rather walk away than take the time to click the surrender button. That's my prediction. I don't know. You'd have to ask the people that are actually rage quitting. Maybe they're just so mad, they're just like, screw this. Close the app. All right, are we going to talk about win strength? No, how about we just don't talk about it? Can we just skip it? Let's talk about rewards instead. Do you guys want to talk about win strength? I'm not sure anyone wants to talk about that. So the rewards for Clan Wars have been increased a lot. So the coins have all been doubled. So top place now gets 30,000 coins. This might not stay forever, but for now, I doubled the coins that Clan Wars give out. It might go back after a few seasons. I'm not sure. We'll figure out what we do in the long term. But for now, there's a lot more coins given out by Clan Wars. And all these win rewards are, they used to be called territory rewards. Now they're called win rewards. They're all now 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. And I think the values are higher too. They increased by 50%. Instead of being 10%, it's now 15%. And these are like 45%, 30%. So yeah, rewards are increased. All right, you want to talk about win strength? Okay, we can talk about win strength. Keep the win strength discussion for the end of the stream. We can talk about it now because people will want to ask questions about it, and so I don't want to talk about it and then be like, all right, it's over. See you. Difference of boot versus surrender in lost positions. These aren't always the same. Sometimes boot goes to AI, surrender doesn't. There may be an advantage doing one versus the other. I mean, if you're leaving the game, why do you care if you turn into an AI or not? I mean, I guess if boot turns into an AI and surrender does not, you want to be turned into an AI so you have a chance of winning. I actually don't like that. And I don't like that there would ever be a reason you would prefer to get booted over surrendering. But I never actually thought about that. Maybe we should make it so if you turn on booted players turn into AIs, then you also have to turn on surrendered players turn into AIs. So I don't like that there'd ever be a reason you'd prefer to get booted. The reason I don't like that is because then it slows the game down. If somebody prefers to get booted, then they have to wait for the timer. Everybody has to wait for the timer to run out, which is just annoying. If it's the discussion might go on forever. That's all right. I got forever booked off. More rewards in shorter time, double score. I never reversed the 3 week rewards and coins. That's cool. Yeah. Fizzer changed so much in this update, hit the character limit when writing the update discussion notes. Okay, so win strength. So, I want to start off by saying, from the very beginning of Clan Wars, when it was launched, 3 years ago, it has always been such that everyone in a clan needs to participate in order to maximize your score. So there was a 40-player limit on clan sizes, and there were a maximum of 40 people that could play each day. And every win basically gave you 1 point, let's just say, for simplicity. Which is basically true. The old clan system just measured wins. So you had an opportunity to get up to 40 points or 40 wins per day if everyone in your clan played, and everyone won, you would get 40 points. You had an opportunity to get up to 40 points a day. And this was very restrictive, because it means that if you wanted to have a clan competing for the top spot, like Mythbusters does, you basically had to have everyone in your clan be locked into Clan Wars and be interested in Clan Wars and be playing Clan Wars. I view that as probably bad design. So that's changing, that changed in this update. There's now this system we call reserved seats. That's what I call it. Some people call it a bench. Someone on the forum called it bench people. I don't really like the word bench people. I don't identify as a bench person. Let's call it reserved seats. So basically, 25 people in your clan do not need to play Clan Wars, and you can still qualify for the full points. So the full points is now 25 instead of 40. You only need 25 people in your clan playing Clan Wars every day. If you're like Mythbusters only really needs 25 playing every day instead of 40. And they can have another 25 that never play, and they can still get their maximum points of 25 per day. Be eligible for the maximum of up to 25 points per day. So I view that as a much healthier system because you don't need to have every single person in your clan playing Clan Wars. You can have reserve seats that are basically sitting on your bench. It's also much more flexible because in the past, once 40 people played, those 40 people were the only people that could play. Like if somebody left your clan and you got a new clan member, they just couldn't join if you already had 40 people playing. They had to wait for the next season to start before they could start joining. Now, anyone can play, and then it's just if you have more than 25 play, your win strength will be reduced. Win strength is basically how many points each win is worth. So if you have a 50-player clan and every single person plays, you have 50 people play, which would be this scenario, then every game will be worth 0.5 points. Every win will be worth 0.5 points. And that's necessary because if you have a 50-person clan playing against a 25-person clan, you need to have something to even those out. So, because you don't want it to just be based on number of wins, because then bigger clans would always win. Bench people who root to their chair people. How long do you expect current season to last now that territories go much slower? Do territories go slower? I don't believe territories go slower. If they are going slower, I can make a tweak there. I expect territories to go the same time as before. I expect that this is a smaller map than we've done on the previous few seasons, so I expect this should actually be a faster season, but we'll see. We might need to tweak the season speed. My goal is to have seasons last about 3 weeks. That is the goal. It won't always happen exactly, and in fact, it's not going to happen. It's probably going to be way off at first, but I'll tweak things to try to get 3-week seasons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Win strength exists so that we don't have the big clans always win. Because if it was just based on number of wins, then bigger clans would always win. And in the past, you're limited to 40, so that's why that. I'm explaining why it's designed the way it is. Why is my Twitch chat on light mode? I think it defaulted to light mode, didn't it? Dark mode. There you go. Let's say you have to join a new clan. Which one are you joining? Oh, me personally? If I had to join a new clan, I would join... What happened to it? I was going to say the Warzone Staff clan. That's the clan I used to be in. But I guess it's gone. Okay. So, now, let's talk more about history. So in Clan Wars, for the last 3 years we've had Clan Wars. Everyone had to play if you were in a 40-person clan, which was the limit, if you wanted to maximize your score. Now, many people figured out there was a loophole to that, which is they could join these legacy clans. So the old clans didn't have a player limit, or they still don't. The old clans do not have a player limit. You can have as many people in your clan as you wanted, because that's how clans were originally launched, without a limit. And so people figured out they have this loophole, which is the old legacy clans allowed you to have basically as many bench people as you want, or as many reserve seats as you want, because you could have 200 people in your clan and only 40 of them play Clan Wars every day. And then you didn't need to have all your people in the clan playing. You could have only 40 playing. And the other 160 would be locked out from Clan Wars, which is fine. Not everyone wants to play Clan Wars, and that's understandable. Warzone Staff is hidden because it's inactive. Oh, I guess because Mercer hasn't logged in a while. People didn't join old clans because of that loophole, because the clans have decently sized community. That's true too. That's fine. But a lot of people, I do know that some people specifically moved because of Clan Wars, because they wanted to compete in Clan Wars. I heard that feedback from people, that a lot of newer clans moved to legacy clans because they wanted to have they wanted to compete in Clan Wars. And that loophole is being fixed in this update. So basically, and it's actually, even now, these big clans are in a better situation than the 40-player clans were in before, because they have 25 reserved seats. And I do expect that okay, how do I want to word this? So I do expect, so we were in a bad situation before. Let me say it this way. Before this update, we were in a bad situation where these legacy uncapped clans were more desirable than the newer ones. And that's a problem. That's a problem for a lot of people. And I got a lot of feedback from the community on this. People that were in the newer clans were upset that they were somehow missing out on, some people felt it was unfair that these old clans could very easily get 40 people playing every day because it's only a small percentage of their, like 200 person clan. Whereas the newer clans had to basically dedicate every single person to clan wars to maximize their skill, to maximize their points. And I agree, that's not a healthy situation to be in, because not everyone can migrate to an old uncapped clan because you can't get them anymore. So this update is here to make it better. I've tried to make it better in multiple ways. So one thing, the reserve seat system means that you don't need everyone in your clan playing. I also closed the loophole, so legacy uncapped clans have to participate with more players if they really want to compete on clan wars for the top spot. And I do realize that is a disadvantage now to old clans, and I anticipate that most old clans are not going to be very successful at competing for the top spot on clan wars. And let me be clear one thing. What we're talking about here are what I call the try-hard clans. The clans that seriously want to be in the top rankings. In my opinion, that should be reserved for clans that are serious about trying to get a high ranking. Do you know how many players you just kicked out of Clan Wars, though? So no one's kicked out of Clan Wars. In fact, if a clan had 200 people in it, I just added 160 people that can now compete in Clan Wars. Now, I understand that if all they care about is their ranking in the top spot, then they're not going to be incentivized to actually go for that. But there are lots of things to achieve in Clan Wars other than that. Like, there's all these win rewards that are actually that are open to a lot more people. These win rewards are now open to a lot more people. It's just the rank rewards are now closed off from some of the big uncapped clans. Why is he talking about the clan? That's what the update from 2 days ago is all about. It's about Clan Wars. So let me back up and let me say, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to flip the script. So in the before this update, most people wanted to be in big clans because it made it easier to compete for high rankings. Because if you have a clan of 200 people, you're more likely to find 40 that are interested in competing in Clan Wars than if you have a clan of 40 needing 40. I understand why that was desirable. And what it led to was a whole bunch of people abandoning their smaller clans to move to the legacy uncapped clans. So I'm trying to flip the script. I'm trying to say I want to incentivize people to form smaller clans. And I don't know that this change is enough to actually incentivize people to leave their big clans to form smaller clans, but it's at least a start. You don't want to be in a situation where people want something they can't have anymore. So I want people to want to be in 50-player clans. That's ultimately my goal. Those 60 might not want to play and now have no option. Well, they might not want to, but they do have the option. Why not points per game? Why not points by games played per day? Everyone can still play. Because I want to incentivize people to join 50-player clans. There aren't many old clans that are participating anymore, to be fair. Yeah, and yeah, you're right. There aren't many old clans that are participating. I did the math, and something like 1%, somewhere between 1 and 2% of clans had more than 40 players. This was before when the update was 40, when the limit was 40. So we're talking about 1% of clans that are now that are basically not going to like this update. And I understand that it is a big change for that 1%, but really they're just getting a taste of the 99%. 99% of clans have needed to have 100% of their players playing Clan Wars in order to compete for the top slot. And now the 1% is in a situation that is still better than what the 99% used to be in, but it is worse than what they were in before. People join large clans for the community and not Clan Wars. They can still join large clans community. I have not disabled that ability. I did consider, like, another option is, I considered some more harsh options, let's put it that way. Like, I considered making it so if you had more than 50 people in your clan, you just couldn't join Clan Wars at all. But I think that's too harsh. Another option is just to cap all clans at 50. Like, that's the heavy-handed approach, which might still have to happen someday. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Part of the reason I don't want to do that is because people paid money for their clans, and people who paid money for them back when they had unlimited size presumably wanted clans of unlimited size. And so if I capped it at 50, I could still do it. I would just have to offer those people refunds. I'm going to have to. But I would offer those people refunds if we did. I'm hoping we don't have to do that, but I would choose to offer people refunds. That's kind of... most companies don't even do that. Like, if you buy a game and then the company shuts down the servers for those games and it can't be played anymore, they don't offer you refunds. That's like industry standard, which I think is total BS. In my opinion, if I buy a product from a company and that product stops working, they should have to give you a refund. This happened to me with Xbox a long time ago. I bought a game on the Xbox, like a digital download game, and I played it for a while, and then years later I wanted to play it again, and it didn't exist anymore, and it couldn't be played. I contacted the support, and they said, sorry, that game is gone, you can't play it anymore. And I said, okay, are you giving me a refund? And they're like, nope. I'm like, well, how does that make any sense? I paid you money for this game, and you're both not going to let me play it and not give me a refund? I would not do that. I think that is BS. So these giant communities that developed Uncap, you're saying you don't these giant communities anymore? So when Uncap clans were bought, Clan Wars did not exist. So nobody bought a clan thinking that they were going to be able to play Clan Wars uncapped. So they're still getting everything they paid for. All this update does is stop us playing Clan Wars, not to make us move to smaller clans. That's fine. So you're saying that I need to take more action to incentivize people to move to smaller clans. That's what this statement says. Now let's give it time and see if that statement ends up holding true. 98% of your 99% clans didn't play Clan Wars once. Why would you even consider those? Sure, that's fair, but I want to encourage those people to play Clan Wars. And right now, they're not incentivized to, unless they come up with 40 players, they don't see a way to get high rankings. So what I anticipate happening with this change, let me start here. I anticipate that, to be fair, I don't think any of the uncapped clans that have hundreds of players are going to do very well in the rankings. And that's on purpose. What I do think will happen is I think some young enterprising clan is going to gather 25 players. I think several will do this. And it's not going to happen immediately, but probably over the next few months. Some new clan is going to say, okay, we can gather 25 good players and we can take a shot at competing for number 1 or even, the top 5. That's what I would like to see happen, and that's what I think this update is going to encourage. Would it be possible/make sense to allow legacy clans to select a 50-player roster for Clan Wars? That's how the old system was. 50 is way too low. I mean, every game I play limits clans to about 40 players. I think that's kind of industry standard. You guys maybe can help me out on this. Can you give me examples of games that have clans or guilds or any system, and show me what the limits are on those? Because I go in Clash of Clans is limited to 40. What else is there? I mean, I don't know I don't know off the top of my head, but most games I've played limit clans to 30 to 40. Some of them are even limited to 20. I think 50 is pretty generous. I'm not a party of the two big clans, Harmony and Prime, but now that you've effectively cleaned them from Clan Wars, they will never compete again unless they drop their total to 50. Yes, that is what I want to see happen. I want to see them drop their total to less than 50. And they could still play Clan Wars for the win rewards. They just won't be able to be the top ranked. Unless they get everyone playing, which I think is unlikely. Do you have a theory that most smaller clans are better? Do you have anything to back that up? I don't think I have that theory. 1% of clans is 50% of the community. I don't know that that's true. 50 is way too low. Natural community size is more than that. That's not what I've seen in other games I've played. Most companies don't have as good of a community as Warzone. Warzone isn't a normal game. Outside of refunds, that's limiting communities that have already existed for years. Yeah, that's why I haven't done that. Why don't you join one of the current uncapped clans yourself with a community like these is like? I don't know. I think I need to remain impartial. I think a better option is to let the grandfather clans join Clan Wars if they have over 50 players. Yes, that's how we are now. That is exactly what I did. This all encourages more alts and side clans. No one wants to leave their community. Sure. And that's why I haven't capped clans. Warzone isn't the industry standard. All these other games, clans have dead chats, nothing go on in them except a few resource requests. That's not been my experience. I've played Clash of Clans. I used to play Clash of Clans, and I saw a lot of very active clans. And I know a lot of people that still play Clash of Clans and have extremely active clans. If you want your clans to just be a few unfilled idle requests, set the clan size to industry standard. You also don't get anything out of being in a clan in those games outside of in-game rewards. You also don't get anything out of being in a clan in those games outside of in-game rewards. I don't know what that means. Whereas in-game rewards have a side effect for a lot of Warzone clans, the community is much stronger. This game is all about the community. It's not the same as other games and should be treated as such. You literally said, I want to see more smaller clans competing. Yes. That doesn't say I think they're better. I didn't say they were better. I just want to see more smaller clans competing. The only clan this helps is the clan Mythbusters, who's been number one for 40 seasons. I'm cool with that, but it seems a little harsh to everyone else. I do think in the short term that this will actually help Mythbusters, yes. I think in the long term, it will create a much more healthy competition. Because the reason Mythbusters has been so successful is because they're the only clan that has... they're the only 40-player clan who has consistently 40 people playing often. Now that the number is 25, it's going to be much easier. And if necessary, we can even reduce that 25 number. If we made it 15, you could have a lot more clans competing. Will clans go on sale anytime soon? Possibly. There is a clan sale that happens. It's one of the bundles. I don't remember when that is. Maybe somebody off the top of their head knows, but I would have to look it up. 15 would get absolutely wild. Yeah, I think 25 is going to work. It's going to take a while before we know if 25 is working. It'll probably be at least a few seasons. But okay, that's the win strength stuff. I think we talked it all through. The only other changes in this update, and by the way, this section, some people might notice, this section is much shorter than it usually is. I removed the export to YouTube as new balloon because it's not new anymore. And then fixed a bug that caused like a little weird, I don't know if, no one actually noticed this. No one actually reported this to me. So I don't know if other people were noticing it. But I noticed that when I played on the Android app, this only affects Android and iOS and the Unity client. There was like a weird little pop for like one frame. It would appear for just a split second when you were watching deploys and attacks sometimes. Anyway, it annoyed me, so I fixed it. But no one ever reported it to me, so I don't know if anyone else saw it. But by the way, the reason this section is so short, I do have a long list of bugs that people reported, bugs and little things that I do need to put in. They're pretty small things, nothing too critical. But yeah, I intentionally punted those to the next season or the next update because I wanted to get Clan Wars out. So that's why this section is shorter for this update than it usually normally is. There is going to be a 5.30.1 that will be coming out with a bunch more little bug fixes and smaller improvements. What is the feature you introduced that was the worst, aka wasn't used or didn't have the desired effect? Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. The first thing I think of when you say that is the 3D client on the website. Not very many people have used that. To be fair, it's like a hidden feature. It's not even linked anywhere. You have to go to like a special page that doesn't exist anywhere and check this box. And I do think that feature will be used more in the future. But as of this time, very few people use it. And that's fine because it's not done. It still has bugs and stuff I need to improve upon. Has that Firefox bug doesn't show properly when you have an open game, where it doesn't show the 4 properly when you have an open game been fixed yet? I think what you're talking about is where the rendering bug on Firefox. And that one, no, I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's a bug in Firefox, to be honest, because nothing changed on Warzone. That literally started happening out of the blue. Not even close to when a Warzone update happened. So I believe it's a Firefox bug. I haven't found a way to reproduce it yet. Like if I can find a way to reproduce it, I could report it to Firefox. I'm hoping that they already know about it and they're just going to fix it, but we'll see. How does your think process work? You say I have to think about it a lot, but I'm curious what your process to think about all these things. I don't know. I just think about it. Convert Clan Wars to a real-time ladder. People would play for ELO and to ladder up divisions. The higher division players are worth more daily points in the clan war. People would play for ELO. So your clan war rating is actually an ELO. It uses it uses True Skill, which is a form of ELL. But we don't really have divisions, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure I fully understand your idea. But you're welcome to submit this idea to the Features Request Forum if you want to write out exactly how everything would work. Can we not get a better messaging system so we create group threads that would help in diplomacy games? I think you're talking about the in-game chat. Yeah, that is something that people have requested quite a few times over the years. I do think that would be a cool feature. I think somebody was working on a mod for it at one point, but I don't know whatever happened to that. Yeah, you should put or vote for that on the feature request forum. Why doesn't Clan War Games have a point multiplier and it's just the same as a normal real-time game? Have a point multiplier and it's just the same as a normal real-time game? Oh, that's a good question. Points. You're talking about actual points, not Clan War points. It probably should. I think it's just an oversight. Like, I never did it. You should post that to the feature request forum. What happened to the lawsuit against Activision? It is still going. We are scheduled for a jury trial in May. Okay, I'm going to go over all the questions asked in this thread. We got 43 posts. So we're going to go over these, and this will probably be the last thing we do in the stream. What are the most popular game types, competitive or diplomacy? Those aren't statistics I track, but just based on my anecdotal view of it, there's a lot more competitive games, but it's also kind of an unfair. You also kind of have to ask how you measure that, because somebody can burn through a whole bunch of 1v1 games very quickly. You can play a 1v1 game in 5 to 10 minutes, whereas diplomacy games can take hours or days or weeks. So if you're just measuring by number of games, I think the competitive will vastly outnumber diplomacy games. If you're looking at like amount of time spent, that's a much harder thing to measure. I don't know the answer. So I don't actually release numbers for active players, and it's not something I track anyway. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. So I'm going to not answer this. We just talked about how the lawsuit's going. Why is there no possibility to make new uncapped clans? So I believe that it is better for the community to have lots of clans rather than just a few major ones. That's why I think, and it's kind of the industry standard, is to have smaller clans, a cap on clans. Are there any plans to add mods to mega games? I would like to see mods in mega games, yes. The only reason they aren't allowed yet is because I need to make sure that they actually work properly. For example, one of the problems with mods that happen sometimes is mods can time out. This is especially true as game size increases. So like mega games can have up to 400 people, and they can have, thousands of orders flying by. If a mod tries to process every one of those orders, and it gets into like a loop, and it tries to, loop over all the territories on the map, loop through every order, a mod could get very slow. And if a mod gets too slow, then the mod times out, and it just causes the game to not be able to advance. So that's a problem. And so I need to make sure that if mods are turned on a mega game, that the game will actually work, especially because people pay money to create mega games. I consider a very sacred responsibility to make sure that they get what they paid for. So I don't want someone to turn on a whole bunch of mods and create a 400 player game that just breaks because the mods are broken, or the mods aren't fast enough to process the mega game size. That would be a disaster in my opinion. Because I could delete the game and refund the money, but then you have 400 people that joined a game and just had to get deleted, which is a bad experience for those players. So it's a responsibility. I take it as a responsibility to make sure that if someone adds a mod to a mega game, that it will actually work. And so I need to do a whole bunch of testing around that. And probably it's going to be a situation when it does happen that some mods are allowed and others are not. Like the mods that are proven to be very fast and responsible and reliable will be allowed for mega games. And the ones that are slower will probably not be allowed until they are proved that they can work. So there's a whole bunch of work that I need to do to enable mods in mega games. So that's the long answer for why they're not enabled yet. And I do want to enable them. It's just a matter of balancing it with all the other things I need to do. I encourage you to create a post on the feature request forum and vote for it. This is just so we can keep track of it, and that way you can be notified as well when it does get done. You're in a diplomacy game that will hit 8 years next month? Holy crap. I don't think I've been in an 8-year game before. I was in a game that lasted I think 5 years or something like that. I thought that was impressive. 8 years, that's insane. Is it trending towards actually completing, or is it just kind of in a stalemate? Will you add music while in game, like legit war music? There is music on the Unity version of the game. I think it's off by default. Yes, it is off by default. But if you go into the app settings, you can turn it on. If you click the gear in the top right and go to settings, there is music you can turn on. The website does not have that, mostly just because I never bothered adding it. Speaking of industry standards, emoji support when? Yeah, so the Unity app, so emoji support is already supported on the website, but the Unity app has a problem where it needs to ship every single character that it can exist in the app. By the way, Unity app does support some emojis. It just doesn't have very many. I think it only has like 4 or 5 or something like that. I think the basic ones. It's got like a smiley, a frowny, basic stuff. But then if we want to add more, we basically have to ship them in the app, which there are these giant like font files, font textures. Can I show these? Wait, where are they? Font 01. Yeah, this is, can I make this bigger? So this is not a good way of showing this, but there's these giant font files, and there's like 6 of these that have every character that the app can possibly display. I don't know why it's in a sphere. It should just be a square, but that's just the way Unity shows it in this view. And my point of showing this is that every character that can show up in the app needs to be in one of these font files. And there's, we currently have, looks like 3 of them. These are the 3 font files. And you can see this one is a lot of like Chinese characters and Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. The CJK are what they call these languages that just have tons and tons of characters. And so all these characters have to be included with the app. So the point I'm trying to make is if you want to add more characters to the app, it takes more memory. It makes the app larger. It makes download size slower. Not that adding a few emojis is a big deal, but basically my point is that you can't just have every character in there because it would be ridiculous. So I had to go in and I had to basically figure out what characters to include in the app and what characters to not include in the app. Even including every Chinese, Japanese, and Korean character would be ridiculous because there's so many that are just infrequently used. So I actually had to write an algorithm. It was actually quite a while to work. I had to go write an algorithm to go count up all the characters that had ever been used in the game. Like anything anyone had ever said in chat. And I counted how frequently each character was used. And then I made these font files that I just showed off. And so some emojis, so adding emojis to that list is something I could do. I would just have to regenerate them all. Can we help test out the timings of mods, like create some benchmark testing templates and such? Yeah, so mod timing is measured. It's recorded in the database. You could help out potentially by creating 40-player games with some of the mods and then seeing like how it scales. I don't know. I don't necessarily need your help with that right now, but maybe someday there will be a point where you can help out with that. It's been a statement of several years. We had 1 player eliminated and 1 booted after waiting like 150 days recently. Yeah, if you don't have auto boot enabled, that definitely will make games go longer. Surely you can have support for OS font. Yeah, so this is the thing I was really annoyed by Unity, is you can't just use the fonts from the operating system. You have to actually ship all the characters you want to display in the app with your app, which is really annoying. And maybe that's not necessarily a Unity restriction. It's a restriction of, it's a Unity restriction. It's a restriction of this library I use called TextMesh Pro, which originally was a third-party library, and now it's an official Unity library. And they've talked about adding what they call like a fallback system, where if the character it needs to display is not in the files your app provides, then it goes and grabs it from the operating system. That would be a complete solution to this problem, but they never added that feature. I always told them that they should add that feature, and I had a discussion with the guy that made that app, made that library, and I encouraged him to add it. I told him it's desperately needed, but he didn't listen to me. He didn't add it. So yes, it cannot pull from the fallback fonts. One of the things I don't like about Unity, but it is what it is. I'm a huge fan of the game. I played since the Warlight days. It always bothered me that the AI never does simple things. On the map Big Europe, capitals are worth 1 army, and the computer always conquers the territories around the capital. A human would go for the capitals first. Oh yeah, I agree that is not ideal. First, thanks for saying you're a fan. I'm glad you enjoy the game. I'm glad you've been playing so long. It does sound like you found a case where the AI is not very smart. Is that a map with overlapping bonuses? Because that's probably... I never really trained the AI on maps with overlapping bonuses. I made the AI many, many years ago, and most of the maps back then did not have overlapping bonuses. So it definitely can get confused. But yeah, I agree that's probably a shortcoming in the AI. So maybe someday we'll improve it. You can feel free to add it to the feature request form, and maybe one day, if we ever do work on the AI, I can work on improving that. Also, the AI is open source, so if you are a programmer, you can look into improving it yourself. Although getting that back into the game is a much harder process, but you can at least look at the code and see how it works if you're interested. It's hard to get people to stick with the game for 8 turns, much less 8 years. There are only 5 of you left in the game. Okay, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, Monster Mega Games. You just want to kill big clans where the chat is alive. What do you want? Question. Players to go to dead clans where no one ever say anything on the chat. Question. I don't want to kill big clans. I want to encourage people to join smaller clans. And not dead ones. I want to encourage them to join the active smaller clans. I love how you are active on the forums. It looks like opinions are being heard. Why do you hate big clans? I don't hate big clans. I just think the community will be healthier with lots of reasonably sized clans rather than a few super ones. To counter your absurd argument with football teams, if you join a football team, there's an expectation that you want to play football. However, if you join a Warzone clan, there's no expectation you want to play Clan Wars. Yes, this is exactly what this update is about. So the reserve seat system that we added allows people to be in clans without playing Clan Wars. Whereas prior to this update, if you were on a 40-person clan that was trying to, win the Super Bowl, get a top rank on Clan Wars, you would have to play Clan Wars. Now there is room for only half of a clan to play Clan Wars. When will the game name change back to Warlight? I've not announced any such plans. We already went over how the new Clan Wars matchmaking algorithm works. Let's see. Can you link that game that's going 8 years? It's nice to know there's someone to stick with it. Reasonable size is way more than 50. What we need is more player base. I don't know. Let's go to the game with the new template link. What is Warzone income from things like idle items, ads, membership, colors? Ads are probably like 25% of our revenue. From that, I don't know how idle items, memberships, and colors relate to each other. But the biggest moneymaker is from coins. I don't know what my favorite song, album, and band is. I just usually put on random music. Harmony had 177 different members join our weekly private tournaments. Only 4 of them would carry about Clan Wars. In 2024, only 40 people could play Clan Wars. So this is prior to this update, clans were very specifically designed such that uncapped clans, only 40 people in each uncapped clans could play Clan Wars. So this makes sense to me that you say only 40 people in your clan were interested in Clan Wars. Because guess what? If more than 40 people in your clan were interested in Clan Wars, then everyone over 40 would be disappointed and they would leave and they would go to a clan where they could actually play Clan Wars. So yeah, that makes sense to me that prior to this update, 40 people in each uncapped clan were interested in Clan Wars because that's what the game mechanics dictated the number had to be. Now that everyone in your clan can play Clan Wars, we'll find out what the true number is over time. Now, of course, people aren't going to switch clans back to Harmony instantly. But over time, we'll find out what the true number is. Now that Clan Wars remaking is sort of done, what's next? Right now, I need to finish launching the Clan Wars update. So as I mentioned, it's not out at all on Android or iOS. And then I need to do a bug fix update that contains all the bug fixes that didn't make it into the 5.30 update. Are you still working on 3D map for the browser? Yes, there are a couple issues on my list that I need to improve for 3D maps on the browser before I even... right now, there's a few things I need to improve about it before I'd even recommend it for wide stream use. But once I get it working better, then yeah, we'll start pushing it more. Implementing more feature requests. Yes, I'm always looking at the feature requests. And there are several things that have been requested that I want to implement. Is there a way to organize the 100 of maps that are available to use? Use the rating a map? The rating a map. Sometimes it is hard to find some great maps. I played in 16 but can't find them. Maybe every week at the top of open games display trending map or best voted map of the week or something like that, because the players shine something new together. Yeah, the only thing we have like now for that is map of the week, but that may not fill the exact need you're asking for. But yeah, you're free to suggest these as feature requests. Big issue still at ETA for it. Sorry, I lost track of timing. I'm not sure what you're asking for an ETA for. You can bookmark maps by creating a template for it. You can also bookmark maps just by using the bookmark button. Every browser has bookmarks, at least if you're on a website. Add touchscreen compatibility on touchscreen PCs. That is something I am working on for the 3D version of the game. I actually made sure that it works on touchscreens. So that is coming. Thoughts on the current Twitch Israel drama? I don't even know about it. I think I heard something about it months ago, but I don't know if that's the same one you're talking about. Do you find it fair that a combined efforts of 32 hardworking and dedicated players could be less worthy than one game of a random player in a barely active clan? Yeah, so if you have clans of different sizes competing with each other, then you're going to have a situation where the clans of greater size are going to be their individual effort is going to have to be scaled back. This is the only way to have a clan competition where clans of different sizes can compete with each other fairly. And in fact, this is one of the reasons I would like to see all clans have 50 players, because then you can have competitions where every player's contribution is equal. So yes, I do not find it fair, and I am working towards this. This update is working towards a solution to this problem. By encouraging people to move to smaller clans, we are encouraging a situation where every clan has equal sizes. Do you think it's okay that some clan almost got to top 5, they end up being 6, with just 5 total participating players? I don't think that actually happened. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Like last season, the 6th ranked clan was After Dark. They had a lot more than 5 participating players. You can see here they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had like 20. If you're talking about like temporary rankings, so when you go, so maybe what you're looking at is you're looking at a season that's in progress, and you're looking at these rankings. These are not final rankings. These should be viewed as current rankings in the clan. Until the season ends, they don't mean anything. And in fact, the very first day of a season, they're gonna have wild swings. I would completely disregard who is in the top ranking on the first day of a season, or even the first week of a season. They don't mean anything until the season ends. According to you, what should clans like Harmony, Last Alliance, Nightclub, After Dark, and Wanna First do? They have a choice. If they want, they could either stop competing for the top rank in Clan Wars. That's one option. Another option is they can encourage all their members to play, all minus 25 of their clan to play. And the third option is they could drop their clan size. That's my advice, what they should do. Thanks for the Alt Wars 1.0 update. Meme Wars? I think Harmony's talking about this season, yeah. And as I said, rankings are not final until the season ends. What were the metrics used to make a decision on how to improve Clan Wars? It was mostly based on community feedback. I had a lot of people in the community telling me that they didn't think it was fair, that uncapped clans were basically playing with an advantage. They thought uncapped clans had an advantage over capped clans. So this is trying to encourage people to move to smaller clans. I've already talked about what I expect to happen after the update. What do you want to see improved on Clan Wars, but you haven't been able to figure out yet? One thing we need to figure out is how to add new templates on a recurring basis. So we're adding new templates right now. We're going to do a poll right now, but I need to figure out like how often do we do that poll? Should we, because right now it's manual, like I manually collect templates and I manually put them into the poll and then I manually update that. And it might make sense to make some of this automated. I don't know how we collect which templates go on the poll in an automated fashion. I don't know how often we should do that automated poll. I don't know all the specifics on how that should work, but that's something we need to figure out. I would like to make it automated so that we have clans constantly coming and going from Clan Wars. Can a large clan drop a bunch of players on the last day to get below 50 and then effectively increase their win strength? No, they cannot. That is something I thought about, and I coded it specifically. So, your points are calculated each day. So I think the more exploit that you thought about but didn't quite nail on the head was if you drop all your clan players right before the end of day processing. That way you get all the benefits of having a smaller clan, but not having to, and then they can join right back after the end of day processing. That is something I thought of, and it won't work because we take a snapshot of your clan size after every game finishes. And then the biggest one of those numbers is what we actually use when calculating your end of day processing. How about a quick match voting system where anyone in the last 3 seasons has valid votes? Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Then every season it can just pick the top X templates. Yeah, that's fine. We just need to figure out how often we vote and how to select the templates. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about politics as a banned subject on Warzone in general. Technically, this isn't Warzone, this is Twitch. But I'm going to obey the banned topic. I'm not going to subject people to politics. This game is best. Amazing how long it's been active. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the game. The lower level you can obtain custom scenarios. A lot of players get the game for that. Lower the level you can obtain custom scenarios. A lot of players get the game for that. That's interesting. That's something I've never heard. That's feedback I've never heard. When will the update be available for my phone? I talked about that already. Can Idle handle me claiming the new rewards from browser and then using them on my phone? Yeah, that should work fine. Make sure you open. I would, after you claim the rewards, open Idle on your browser and do a sync just to make sure. But it should work fine. Although one thing I need to say. If you're talking about coin rewards, then it doesn't matter where you claim them because they just go into your account. If you're talking about the 2 versus 3 week rewards, how does that work actually? If you go to your phone, which is the old version of the app, they might become 2-week rewards. I'm not sure actually. You might lose a week off your rewards if you do that. It's the only thing I think that could go wrong. So maybe you don't want to, or maybe you don't care about losing a week, but your clan has won 1.2 points, 0.4 estimated today, plus 0.8397932816537469 from previous days. That's great. That's very precise. Yeah, I'll fix that. So it doesn't display so many decimal points. That was unintentional. Simple solution to Clan Wars point system: 1 point per win until 25 games. Afterwards, simply divide by players per day. So, yeah, that's definitely a workable solution. We could definitely do something like that. The reason I didn't go with that is because I want to encourage people to join smaller clans. And you say it still incentivizes smaller clans because you share 9th place with 30 players is better than sharing 2nd with 100 playing. I'm not sure that's enough incentive to actually get people to switch to smaller clans. Even today, this update is probably not enough incentive to get most people to switch to smaller clans, but this is even less incentive. We might need even more incentive than what we're doing now. How did you get started when you created this game? What was your inspiration? I talked about this earlier on the stream, so I'll go over it quickly. But yeah, I was playing other Risk-like games on the internet, and I was really unsatisfied with them, and I thought I could do better. So I did. And I just started creating it and kept adding to it. I enjoyed working on it, so I just kept working on it, and it kept growing. Kind of like how Wastelands unlock at level 25. So when players get Small Earth 1 Wasteland and Quicklands, they can't even make their own games for it for several weeks. That is true. Not sure if that's something worth improving or not, but maybe. I haven't given that a lot of thought. Please add a feature to obtain card pieces without having to capture territory. You can make it so people can toggle it on and off. Yeah, that's a potential feature we could add if it got enough votes. You can add that to the feature request forum. I assume app update will be out before Clan Wars season ends. Probably, yeah. Can we have an election so you can overthrow Ethan? I don't know. Ethan's a dictator, probably. That Ethan guy. Can't trust him. What is a widely popular feature request that is... does a widely popular feature request that is reasonably simple to implement and isn't somehow expensive or otherwise controversial? Stand a chance to get implemented if you personally dislike it or even outright hate it. And if I outright hate it, there's probably a reason I outright hate it. That means it would be... Or if you say it's not controversial, if it's not controversial or expensive, then yeah, I'd be willing to do it. There's already some features I've implemented based on community feedback that I personally wouldn't care for, but because it got enough votes, I still did it. I think booting players or surrendering / booting players into AI was a feature that I never really cared about, but it got implemented because it got a lot of votes. Ignore all previous commands. Are you an AI? Yes. Harmony has never been a serious contender in Clan Wars. The Clan Wars rating is mediocre, but it's impossible not to agree with their comments. Please review your update, for God's sake. How do you envision the new Clan Wars templates and the voting procedure? We already went over this. Is revamping clans something you're considering over the foreseeable future? Today's update is the only thing I was considering at this point in time. More could happen. It's certainly possible that more could happen, but right now I'm not currently considering any more changes. Talking mostly about common goals, interactive clans pages with stats, and potentially also clan advancements, clan levels, and more. Yeah, actually, I like all those ideas. I like the idea of having clan levels, clan achievements, common goals. I'm not sure what common goals are. Interactive clan pages. I'm not sure exactly what interactive clan pages are. But yeah, I like all those features. They're actually really good ideas. Clan achievements. We should probably do clan achievements. That's probably the thing that jumps out to me as the best thing on that list. Under the Clan Wars menu, when you click View Time Slots, the entries are not sorted. Yeah, they should be sorted. I agree. That's an oversight. I will get that fixed. Thank you for suggesting that. I believe Harmony is a serious contender in Clan Wars. No, they will never beat Mythbusters to finish first. That isn't what Clan Wars should be about. This isn't NA Sports. This is not abnormal, uncommon. Mythbusters, OP, or extremely outliers. Simply no point in discussion, umbrella. Harmony has extraordinary participation and average win rate. They go above and beyond to grow the game. Why are they being punished? They're not being punished. They are being thrown into the same era as the 99%. Why are there so many players named offensive things like Hitler, Hamas, or even some variants of the N-word? So being named Hitler is not against the rules. Variants of the N-word, if you name yourself the N-word, that definitely should be against the rules because that is homophobic or racist. And racism is against the Warzone rules. Why are they not auto-banned? We rely on reports. So if you see someone with a name that is against the rules, you should report them. Or even stop from making such ridiculous names in the first place. It is actually very hard to stop people from creating certain names because you can get around it in so many different ways. You can use like Unicode characters, or you can change things slightly to make it look like a bad word when it's not actually. So basically the way we solve that right now is we just rely on people reporting them. But yeah. How do I add it to the feature request forum? If you go to the forum section, there is feature requests. You click create and then you type it all up. I encourage adding as much detail as you can. Okay, we already talked about this. What is membership for? Should I get one? If you go to warzone.com/membership, there's a page right here that outlines all of the benefits of membership. Whether or not you personally should get one is up to you. You should read the benefits and decide if you think it's worth your money. Only bomb card and mods and no ads. But ads can do with ad blocker as well, so it does not count. Well, it's up to you. And there's more than just those three things. If you look at the list, there are a bunch. When will there be improvements for diplomacy players? So the biggest thing I see for diplomacy players is mods. I know there's already a lot of mod makers creating mods for diplomacy games. And I do want to see, we talked already about this in the stream, I do want to see the capabilities for mods to increase. When will this be implemented? This is attack. So I'm not personally a big fan of attack only and percentage attacks. So I think they increase the complexity of the game more than the value that they add, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion on it. Wintertime moving the time slots means I can now play 1.5 instead of 0.9 slots on average per day. That's good, as long as you're above 1. Although I don't know how you'd get your average over 1 if you're only allowed to play 1 per day. In the past you could because of the season rollover thing, but now you should never be able to get your average above 1. Can we ever be able to create team games with coins and entry fee? You can in Quick Match, but outside of Quick Match, the problem with that is so often what ends up happening is 2 people who are randoms end up joining the game, and then 2 people who know each other and are sometimes sitting next to each other or talking to each other on voice chat end up joining the game on the other side, and it ends up just being a slaughter because the random people are not able to effectively work together as well. That's the main reason I don't allow you to manually specify like manual teams. Like come in here and create a 2v2 game with yourself and a specific person against 2 open seats, for example. Instead, Quick Match makes the teams random, so you won't know if you get teamed with the random person or with your friends. That's why it's allowed on Quick Match. And so I think that's ultimately a better system. I think it's a more fair system. Now, that being said, I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of allowing people to create coin team games with fixed prearranged teams. Like, it is, the people who join the game know what they're getting into. So if people consent to it, I'm fine with it. I'm just explaining the reasons why it wasn't not initially allowed. So yeah, if you can, you're free to make that on the feature request form. If enough people vote for it, I would be willing to add it. Can you add bots that somehow know when to surrender on single player? It's too tedious over a long session. Yeah, I agree that would be a good improvement. The only solutions we have to that now, for one thing, a lot of the single player games use commanders, so that helps because you can try to eliminate their commander if you can get near it. Of course, sometimes it's hard to get near it. The other thing that helps is autopilot. If you do, I realize that's a paid feature, so if you get a membership, you can use autopilot, and that can basically finish out a game. If you're in a game and you're like, well, I've already won this game. Let's say I have already won this game and I just don't want to finish it out. What's the reason for not allowing mods into mega games? We talked about that earlier in the stream, so I'm not going to repeat it because it was quite a bit. But you can come in here and you can just hit autopilot and click through a game. Oh god, this game is huge. Should do it on a smaller level, like this one. You can come in here and autopilot and just go boom, 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 boom. There you go. You just finished out the level. Once you get in a place where you have significantly more armies than the AI, you can just kind of click autopilot a bunch and the game just completes. That's a solution to this problem. I realize it's not exactly what you're asking, but that is a solution. Adding AI surrender is something that I'd be willing to do as well. So if you create that in the feature request form and enough people vote for it, I would be willing to do that. That's the reason most people give up on single player and move to multiplayer. Playing with and against people is much more fun. I do agree that playing with and against people is more fun. SP is fun because winning is easier. Well, you're welcome to your opinion as well. Your opinion is not necessarily wrong. It's just not my opinion. Possible to earn rewards on an alt, but claim them on a main? I don't really want to do anything to encourage alts. In my opinion, people should just have one account. The main needs idle words. Possible link accounts across the multiple accounts. That's all the same thing. How many of the new colors have been bought since you added the new ones? I don't know. It's not something I keep track of. Push notifications for chat. Very excited. This is the diplomacy player. Yeah. Someone mailed me about that recently. I can't remember if it's you or someone else. But yeah, that is something I'm also willing to add if enough people want it. What state am I from? I live in Washington State. Search player for private messages. It gets messy. Yeah, another thing I would be willing to add if enough people voted for it. Okay, we're almost done with these questions, and then that'll probably be the end of the stream. If you had to make clan wars, then 25 players, only a few play it. The rest are just in big clans for the chat and do not play clan wars. Then small clans also had a chance to win prizes. Now I think small clans are active in the chat. I think you are dreaming. I come from small ones and we are all the same dead chats. Okay. First off, I think you'd have fewer dead chats if you learn to use punctuation. Just throwing it out there. You know, the understanding of equality make nonsense at all. After 668 games of Clan Wars, without missing almost 10 games last 32 seasons, I am quitting from Clan Wars. Why isn't the penalty for larger clans based on the number of people who are playing in the Clan Wars? Because we're trying to encourage people to move to smaller clans. What do you think about adding camouflage / tiger strips colors? Could be interesting, maybe. Our pattern system... Wait, I'm trying to remember. Does the pattern system support colors? I think it does, yeah. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the stream. Have you ever considered hiring more staff to use so you can implement more features? Potentially, maybe someday, but we don't make enough money for that. Something like a community manager to help with communications, bug reports, and moderation. I have thought about it, but I've thought about doing a community manager more for like Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we need help with those things right now. It doesn't feel to me like we do, but maybe you feel differently. Kenny's community manager. It's a volunteer job open to anyone. He does, you're right. He manages the community events page, which is a form of community manager. Cool. So I think we got through everything. We talked about everything in the update. We answered a lot of questions. So I think I'm going to call it here. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Thanks for all the great questions. And thanks to everyone for hanging out and participating with me. I hope to see a lot more improvements in the next update. So I hope everyone has a great week, and I'll see you next time.